Hi, this is Doug Goldstein from the Goldstein on Gelt Show. You're going to love the upcoming interview that I do with Saul Sehy. Now, Joe is a longtime friend of mine. He's been on the show before. He and I also are panelists on the Money Tree Investment Podcast, which, by the way, I strongly suggest you listen to. I think you'll really enjoy that. Joe has his own podcast called Stacking Benjamins, one of the most popular podcasts in the whole podcastosphere. He's really a great speaker, but he's going to be talking to us today about his Millionaire money management system. One of the problems that a lot of people have is they just don't know how to act like a millionaire. And if you don't act like one, you're not going to be one. Joe will talk to us about some of the tools and tips that he gives in the course, and he'll tell you how you can get a copy of that as well. Enjoy the interview with Saul Sehy here on the Goldstein on Gelt Show. Okay, I'm very excited to have back on the Goldstein on Gelt Show my good friend Saul Sehy. He is an award-winning podcaster. He's at stackingbenjamins.com. He's also a great guy to talk to. If you haven't heard the previous interviews I've had with Joe on the Goldstein on Gelt Show, they are on YouTube. You can just go to YouTube and look up Goldstein on Gelt and Saul Sehy. Now, Joe, I understand you are on your way to becoming a millionaire. Is that correct?
Well, and actually what's funny is that yeah, seven figures is someplace let's put it this way, without going into what my net worth is, it's a place I know really well. But I think more than that, what I think people think it takes to become a millionaire is different than what it really is. I think people think that millionaires have more discipline than the average person does. And I know from working with lots of millionaires during my financial planning career that it's not about discipline. I think millionaires like us to think it's discipline, right? Because they like to think, hey, you know what? I am a little bit cooler than you. I've got an extra comma in my net worth that you don't have. And it is discipline. I'm pretty much a great person. But I think that's a trick. I think there's something else going on.
So what else other than discipline is it?
Well, I think it's about this. And this came directly from a wealthy client of mine. When I told her I thought she had incredible discipline several years ago, she looked at me and she kind of laughed. She goes, "No, you actually have to be able to do one thing. And that one thing is identify that you actually did something pretty darn cool." When it happens, because we all have these times in our life where we accidentally stumble on something that works, right? And when we stumble on that, to have the ability to kind of get out of the moment and go, "Oh, that's a really cool thing that I did." And then to be able to replicate that and create a system around it so that now you never have to identify it again. I think is the key. You want an example?
I need a little more. I'm thinking like something cool you did that made you money, like marrying someone who's wealthy. Yeah. So you're going to try and replicate that? Is that your model?
No, let me tell you one of them. And I mean, I could tell you 20 of them, but here's a good one. I sat down one time with a property casualty insurance agent, something I have never done, even though I've looked through my clients' car insurance, I've looked through their homeowners insurance, and I show them how they should call their agent or call their company and save money. But this one agent said, "You know, Joe, different agents and different companies, let's say Allstate is an example, they like people in a certain age range. And when you have a birthday, that's an opportunity for you to take a look at your insurance and see if maybe you're no longer in the age range, the band that the company you're with likes, and you're now in the wheelhouse of another company." So very quickly, because now you have these, you can send it to one place and they'll comparison shop it 20 different places like Progressive is an example. When you send your insurance there, you may find once a year that you save a bunch of money on your car insurance just because you had a birthday. So now I'm busy on my birthday celebrating, but on my calendar, the day after my birthday every year is send out my car insurance to the usual places that I go, send out my homeowners, my car insurance. And I found over the last 15 years of doing that I've saved a lot of money by making tactical switches where I wouldn't have had I not known that little trick.
Yeah, you got to watch for the details. You're referring to it as looking at the little things you do and then find the ones that work and do more of that. One of the things that I've often felt that I see in my most wealthy clients, really the people who are most successful who didn't just inherit it, is they're incredibly organized. They've got a system, whether it's someone else who's imposing the system or they've built their own systems. Is that part of what you've seen as well?
No, actually, I mean, I have, but it's not. But I don't see it as organization as much as I see it putting organization in your face. I'm not a guy that anybody has ever called super organized. Yet my net worth is nice, and I use machines that help me stay organized. So I'll give you an example. I use this cool thing called Clarity Money. I'm not affiliated with Clarity Money. I got nothing to do with them. I used to use Mint. Mint had so much stuff going on under the hood. I found I wasn't using it. Yet Clarity Money, I turn it on, and right from the top of Clarity Money, it tells me very quickly how much cash I have. We just did some home improvements, and I put those all on credit cards so I can get the points, right? So right now it shows that I have credit card debt, which I never have. And then as I look at my transaction register right below it, it tells me all the things that came out of my bank account. It also tells me how much money I spent over the last few days. The last few days, I spent $94.51. And it shows green, which says that according to the parameters that I gave it, I'm all set. So for me, I can very quickly go into Clarity Money and get, this is how much cash I have, this is how much debt I have, this is how much I spent the last few days, these are the most recent transactions. I've got a better view of my money than a lot of people have just using that one simple tool. To save money, Cheryl and I are going on a trip to Germany next year. I want to pay cash for that. I use another app that I'm not affiliated with called Rise, and it's Rize. What's cool about Rise is you set a goal, Germany, you tell it how much money you need to save per month to reach that goal, and then how often you want to save toward that specific goal. I like this system because it separates my Germany money from the money I'm using for groceries. Most people don't do that. Then number two is I get a decent interest rate on my money. But number three that I like that Rise does, they've got two cool little systems in there. Number one is they have this thing called Boost, where let's say I'm saving $200 a month. Every single time I save, it'll save 1% more. So instead of two, the next month it's 202, then it's 204. And it's slowly like the whole boil a frog thing, right?
Counting it up. Yeah, building it up.
Yeah, just do it a little bit at a time. And the other one is it automatically, like Digit, will take a little extra out of my checking account after it looks at my checking account and says, you don't need that extra money. And it puts it in my Germany fund.
We're talking to Joe Saul Sehy, the host of the Stacking Benjamin podcast, an award-winning podcast, a great show. You should check it out at stackingbenjamins.com. He's been talking to us about ways of getting yourself onto the millionaire track. In fact, Joe, I'm a little concerned because you've been talking about things like look at what you do that works and do more of it, use some of these cool apps in order to help you get in the system of saving and spending more cleverly. But at the beginning, I introduced you as a guy who could help us to get to be a millionaire. Tell me, are these tricks and tools and ideas what millionaires use, or are these what people who are generally keeping themselves above water doing?
Yeah, this is what's interesting. Millionaires do it, but it's not the reason they're a millionaire. Those things that I just told you, the reason that they're a millionaire is because they can focus their brain not on minutia, but they're focusing their brain on the big picture stuff. So if I can automate all these little things in my life, and I can make sure that I don't have to think about them, I don't have to worry about them, I have a system already designed. Now I can focus on how do I operate my business so that I grow my net worth? How do I get that next raise at work so I raise my net worth? The big things that will really have an impact, I can focus all my real energy on those instead of, am I saving $202 instead of $200 toward my Germany trip, right? But the key is millionaires are able to devote all of their energy to that one thing. And it's funny when I talk to millionaires, when I have millionaire clients and I look at even the systems that I use, I know that I use all of these little systems so that it frees up my time and I'm taking advantage of getting really, these are kind of free dollars that most people let slip through their fingers, Doug, and a millionaire doesn't let that happen.
Right. It's like delegating. A lot of times people say, these guys who are super, super successful, how do they do it? And they delegate. They find other people to do the work and they're on top with the ideas. And I think what you're pointing out is that today with technology, there is so much available that we can delegate to, just in terms of technology, to our phone to help us oversee our banking and to help us oversee our investing and to help us oversee our goals. Although I would slightly disagree with your goal. I think you should plan a trip with Cheryl to Israel so we can hang out together here.
Oh, really?
But that'll be for the next show. So tell me, Joe, in the last few seconds, I know you have a ton more of this stuff to teach. How can people learn more?
We do. We put together a course called the Millionaires Money Management System. And the way I developed it was when I was a financial planner, I would help people with their line items in their budget. And I would always forget some of these little tricks. So this will show how old I am. I made a sheet of paper and I laminated it. And then I found more tricks and I put sticky notes and I used marker on it that I relaminated, made it bigger. So this is every single little way that you can hone your budget, all these little things we talked about today, times a bajillion. And the key to this course is not whether you've heard of these things or not, Doug. It's that nobody automates every single little thing. So what we do is we give you 3 or 4 of them, and then we stop and we have you automate them. If you go through this course and you just whip through it and you don't actually take this time to stop and automate all these little pieces like millionaires do, you'll find that it's an incredible waste of money. But for people that are willing to do the homework, it's stackingbenjamins.com/find Ben, where we're finding Benjamins. So stackingbenjamins.com/find Ben is the place to go for the Millionaire Money Management System.
Okay, we will put a link to that at the show notes of today's show at goldsteinongelt.com. Joe Saul Sehy, thanks so much for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me, Doug. I appreciate it.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Check out all of Doug's money ideas at goldsteinongelt.com. Doug specializes in helping people who live outside the United States handle their U.S. investment accounts. If you have a question that you would like answered on the air or off, contact Doug at his website or send him an email to doug@profile-financial.com.